Hello, everyone. Um, we come to the morning of, um, uh, we actually come to the fourth day of first quarter. I messed up a little bit of my timeline. It's now been 3 days since the first day of school, and it's 5 days since the graduation night, right?
Mhm.
But yesterday was when you got your assignments. So we are waking up today on the 4th. It's in Arisoth. It's the middle of the week, essentially. But you still have over 11 days until your assignment is due. Um, and you go, and I assume you get ready in the morning, like always.
Yes.
You go and you get ready, and you do not actually have your roommate come and do his get ready routine with you today. As you kind of come out and you're about to go on your busy day, you wanted to talk to Mina to see if she can critique some of your things. You know that at some point you wanted to go fishing with Giselle. That doesn't have to be today, it can be any day. We might go through a couple days in this session because of how extensive Falin's research is. Um, and you also talked about wanting to talk to Isabeau to try to sweet talk a way into seeing your old dragon friend again. Um, but as you head out for a busy day, you pass by the sort of like central seating area that your dorm has. And you actually see that Killian is already there, sitting in one of the chairs, uh, writing something while also seemingly referencing a book that's kind of in his lap. And he doesn't look to engage with you as you leave.
Can I sneak a peek at the book?
If you want to, I'm going to. Are you going to try to be sneaky about it, or are you going to just try to look?
Uh, I'll try to be sneaky about it.
Okay, let me go ahead and roll those rolls really quick. You go to kind of sneak a peek at the book, and it's pretty easy to tell what it is because of the way that the words are sort of printed on the page, not really taking up the full page like a book of literature would be. But it looks like it almost is a book filled with like stanzas of some kind. So whether it be like a song or like an old play or something in pentameter. Uh, Generally, it seems to have a sort of cadence to reading it. So you manage to see it, but in your effect to kind of be sneaky, you see Killian's eyes kind of flit up to you from the corner of his eyes, and he goes back down to his book and he just says, "Hey."
Hi. Does he look okay? Or does he just look fucking focused?
He looks like he is poring over this book. I don't know if you can necessarily see any sort of emotion in his stance. You know that he's generally kind of closed off, so you don't know if he looks particularly closed off right now. But something that you can notice, and you notice this as a musician, um, every once in a while, as he goes to like write something, you see he kind of um, bounces his quill as if keeping track of something in his head.
Motiva's gonna look and she says, "Are you songwriting?"
No. I'm trying to study the cadence of a particular battle poet.
Oh.
Yeah. Generally in like oratory, spellcasting, and the like. You can't just blurt it all out. Half of it is like how you're saying it. You know.
I don't, but thank you for the hint.
Well, you'll learn pretty fast when you start getting into actual classes. There are depending on the teacher you talk to, between 5 and 7 pillars of verbal components of spellcasting.
Ew.
And you will be made to memorize every single one.
Well, I guess it can't be hard. It can't be harder than learning chords. That's fine.
You know, it comes easy enough.
I was going to have to learn it anyway. She's gonna put her guitar over her back and she's gonna say, "Do you want anything while I'm out?"
Anything like what?
Like food, drink.
Are you offering to buy me something?
She kind of like stares and she's just like, I don't know. I'm used to doing that for my old roommates. It's kind of just natural, I guess. Yeah, I'm a food, drink. I don't know.
He looks almost as bewildered by this conversation as you seem to be by his surprise in it. 1 second. I guess a coffee?
Do you? She like kind of looks at him and she's just like, do you like black coffee?
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
Nothing. Do you not? She like kind of looks and she's like, is she like, where's Doko?
I think that Doko is kind of curled up maybe under Killian's chair right now.
Fuck, that's cute. She's gonna like point and just be like, ink slinging mage likes black coffee. The irony doesn't hit you.
Hold on.
I'm not judging. It's just funny.
I have to reference something really quick. Okay. I think that he just looks at you, and I think that he is gonna kind of, you see his like mouth kind of quirk up a bit, and he just goes to say, well, stereotypes aside, if you'd rather drinking milk and sugar, that's your own prerogative. But I mean, if you're gonna have coffee, you want it to be coffee. That's how it works.
Is this whenever I admit that I don't drink coffee at all?
This school might make you.
Ah, I. It doesn't taste good though.
Yeah, but it keeps you awake. Gives you energy. People don't drink it for the taste. If I thought you were gonna psychoanalyze my drink choices, I would have just passed.
I'm not psychoanalyzing anything. I don't even know how to spell that word. I'm just saying it's a little bit funny, but you will have your coffee.
Thank you. That's very nice of you.
It's not that nice. Don't worry about it. And she's gonna like look at Doko and she's gonna like stare for a second, busking in cute ink cat, and she's gonna walk off.
Yeah, and so you go to leave for your morning. I'm gonna hop on over to Falin really quick. Let me pause so I can move over the pictures. And we're back. Falin.
Hello.
Hello. What do you think your morning looks like? Getting ready.
I think she's getting up bright and early to do her morning routine, get dressed in her uniform. And I think she's actually going to spend a few hours in the little common space in the dorm.
I love that. I have a fun question for you because this is something that I have actually realized about your dorm situation. So, in the first year dorm, you had a bathroom kind of like at the end of the hall that you got ready in. In Quandrix, it is on the bottom floor of your tower. So I wanted to ask, do you think that you still use sort of the common facilities that are in your dorm room, or since you have so much extra time as an elf, do you think you go like to the gray room to get ready, because that is something that you can do because you don't sleep very much?
I can do that.
It's just a flavor question. I'm just curious. I like it.
Yeah, I think on average days she will go to the gray room because that's nice. It's a very nice place to get ready.
It's very luxurious.
But I feel like on days where she's like, "Oh, I'm busy," or like, "Oh, I don't have time to dawdle," she'll just use the first floor.
Play. You go to get ready and you go to kind of spend your early morning in the common area, kind of just chilling. Do you think that you do anything that you kind of busy yourself with hanging out?
Yes, I think she's specifically trying to map out the logistics and lay out the like guidelines for her experiment.
Oh, that's fun. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. If it's just generally, though, you don't have to go into it, but I just think that that's fun.
Yeah, it's mainly generally because how many days do we have until the
You
assignment?
have 11 days. If you count today, you have 12 days.
We have 12 days. Okay. So she's going to be dedicating 2 days to each campus.
Okay.
And I think she's kind of just making rules to make sure that this experiment is going to be as authentic as it can be.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because, like, the whole idea is immersion. So it's like, okay, well, how do I immerse myself and not fall into what I would normally be doing?
Yes.
Slay. Slay. I think you kind of spend your morning hours kind of idly doing that and hanging out. And it's a very, like, nice common area. I know I've kind of mentioned this, but it's a really nice place. They want people to hang out in these, and there's sort of like this dappled sunlight coming from the floors above as leaves are kind of growing from the wood of these buildings. Um, and you see like light motes dance down, and there's a smell of old books and warm leather, and it's just like a really comforting place to be in, even when you're like by yourself. Um, but something of note that you notice, because you know which room belongs to everybody because they have little plaques on them. As you see, you hear a door open, and you look up just in time to see Selwyn's door open as she goes to make eye contact with you on her way to step out, and then she immediately slams the door closed.
I like this because I like to imagine that Phil had heard the door open, went up to see Selwyn, and was about to be like, "Oh, good morning," and then immediately the door closed.
Yeah. You can do anything you want or feel anything you want about that, but that is what happens.
Uh, I think she'll leave it for now.
Okay, that's definitely fine. Um, you go to spend the rest of your morning in relative peace then. If you want, we can start going into if there's something in particular that you want to do for today, or if you want to go ahead and start your experiment. We can honestly do whatever you want in this opening segment right now.
Yeah, I think because Flynn's plan was to go to the counselors to get their input on it, and now she has a second reason to go see the counselors.
Yes.
So I feel like she will go to them once she has finished outlining everything.
Yeah, which are you gonna go talk to?
I'm gonna go ahead. Let me pull up the names again. Uh, there we go. Okay. Ruxa?
Yeah, we can go talk to Risha.
Yeah. Risha. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, you go and you find their office that you saw them in the other day. It's very early in the morning, so you don't actually see it as full as it was last time, especially because that was a day where it was specifically getting to know and talk to all of their new students or old students. Um, and you see that they're kind of setting I'll say that they're rearranging some of the books they have in little bookshelves around the office as you come in. Door is open. They're a very welcoming character on this campus. And you see that she goes to look at you and goes, "Ah, Flynn. Hello."
Good morning. I was hoping to get your input on the plan that I have for my assignment.
I would love to give my advice. Come, let's sit. And you see that she goes to kind of gesture to you to some of the pillows and stuff and rugs that she had on the floor that students were sitting at the other day, and she goes to kind of heft herself down and pat the floor in front of her to come talk to her. I would love to give my input on it. Again, this is why we are here. I want to be able to help give you advice on how best to do things.
I appreciate that. Just gonna go sit down. She's going to take out some of her papers and kind of lay it in front of her. And is going to say, so the point of the assignments is to prove that this is where I belong. So my idea was to run simulations essentially at the different campuses and gather data to prove statistically why this is the best place for me.
I think that they listen, and they're very like active listener. I think that she goes to nod very often while you're talking and explaining. And I think that she goes to kind of gesture with her big bare paws and say, I personally think that the best way to prove something is through an experiment and using a hypothesis to find data. I think, regardless of what your findings are, I think that this is a very effective way to show that you are taking the assignment seriously.
I think that does make Flood smile. I think she's feeling a little validated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say thank you. I was wondering if you had any advice on the best way to get started with this, particularly when it comes to trying to get the feel of the coursework for the other colleges.
That may be a bit more difficult, especially because even if you go to the other colleges right now, no one is really doing coursework. Even upperclassmen, they have their own assignments, but that is different than going to classes and such. Perhaps a better way to go about that element is to try and participate in campus activities that relate to coursework as a means of substitution. Things like, of course, you would not be doing this for Quandrix necessarily, but using Quandrix as an example, going and helping at the Cultivarium, which is our sort of garden, but it is supplemented with a lot of the science of our agricultural engineering, but also through use of magic and theorems and that sort of thing. So, in actuality, helping in an environment like this would be utilizing two different skills that you would be learning on the campus. I am not terribly familiar with the offerings on other campuses, but perhaps things like that could be a thing to look for. Of course, there is also just the element of outside of technical things. Strixhaven is very, very social. It is a place where, of course, you learn higher learning, but very often students find themselves through their time here and through interacting with their peers, their mentors, even rivals or people who work in different fields entirely. Even just partaking in the campus culture of other colleges, I think could very quickly show you where you are meant to be or where you belong. I think, of course, Quandrix is very technical in the skills that we cultivate and the paths that we follow. But you should not pick Quandrix just because of the technicals. I think even something as esoteric as soul searching could also be beneficial on your experiment. But now I am starting to ramble and I am starting to talk more than you might have wanted me to say. I do not mean this to influence your experiment, but I think trying to partake in many elements of what each campus can offer you, I think will give you your answer.
I feel like as soon as she started like getting more into it, Philin like immediately took out a journal and started writing down everything she said.
Yeah.
And so she kind of looks up after finishing writing it and is going to say, "Oh no, this was frankly invaluable insights. Thank you."
Of course. It's why I'm here. I only hope that the things that I can say or tell you are things that can help you, especially as such a young mage.
Oh, I had another question I wanted to ask you. It is unrelated to the assignment.
Of course, I am here for anything that you need.
So last year, me and some friends got in a bit of trouble from sneaking into the archives beneath the Biblioplex.
The restricted archives?
Yes, we already served attention for it and what have you. But we met Miriam when we were down there, and she requested that if we can, to return. And so me and my friends are trying to find more official channels of getting to see her again.
You met someone down there?
Yes? The dragon? Do they not know about the dragon?
Rosha is looking at you and trying to formulate an answer, and says, well, if you saw a dragon down there, the founders are not usually on campus for a majority of the year. Are you sure are you sure it was not some sort of illusion?
No,
Perhaps
no.
a defense mechanism?
Well, she was there guarding it, but it was no illusion. Let me go back in my notes to get the details. This is gonna take me a bit. I can't remember where in my notes it is.
That's A-okay.
Because if I recall, she told us like why she was down there.
Ah, she did.
Yeah.
It was a whole story.
It was a whole story. It was pain but I can't remember.
I can definitely tell you the details. I don't think that she hid any of them, so it's not like I can accidentally spoil you on anything. Basically, in the history of Arcavios, right, the founder dragons are like this big deal. And they were basically the progenitors of magic, right? And Arcavios had a lot of war. It was called the Blood Age. It had a lot of war. And there was another dragon that like basically had beef with the founder dragons, and tried to usurp them in some way, essentially. but they, killed her, and now her spirit is bound to the place that she died, to um, specifically guard the restricted archive, because of the whole idea of why should we, be the arbiters of magic, and why should we do this, blah 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 blah. And now it's like, okay, well, now you can guard the fucked up magic that we didn't want y'all using, essentially.
All right. Mm-hmm. I feel like Felina's gonna share all of that. Just like, did you not? Is that something that is shared or known about?
How do I word this? Rusha will listen to your story, and Rusha will listen to you tell her this. But I think that by the end of it, whenever you say oh, isn't this known? Do people not talk about it? Why don't you know this? And Rusha is going to say, well, I think that you have discovered a very interesting piece of history, and got to learn very interesting insight into the history of the Biblioplex and our school. But I think perhaps there is a misunderstanding is a strong word. I don't think that is the case, but we as teachers and alumni of Strixhaven are not usually privy to the comings and goings and the things that the founders have done, and what they generally tend to do, as well as Strixhaven. The Biblioplex is not owned by Strixhaven, the school. The school, Strixhaven, has access to the Biblioplex made by the Founder Dragons. So no, actually, the restricted archives are not only restricted to students, they are restricted to faculty and other people who live on this plane. I am actually very surprised to hear that they only gave you 1 detention for finding you down there, as a lot of magics that are locked away there are very dangerous and worrisome if they got into the hands of people. Magic that can pull at the weft of things, and magic like that has been used for very bad things in our history. And I do not want this to sound like I'm scolding you. I think that you seem sufficiently sorry for this act that you've done. But I think that there is a lack of severity when talking about this topic that worries me a little bit.
Where's that one fucking Pikachu meme? What do you mean the secret archive is banned for a reason? What? Crazy.
What do you mean? I thought it was just that there was powerful stuff down there. That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's wild. Felina's just going to nod, kind of has her hands kind of clasped together, trying not to fidget. She says, I think this gives me a better understanding of it. I admit I don't think I knew quite the gravity of it.
And I think that that is understandable. Please do not think that in this moment you are in any additional trouble. I do not want this conversation to make you feel like you cannot talk to me about things. And at the end of the day, we are all people who, more times than not, don't understand things or don't know certain contexts. So I hope that the most that I can do as an educator is enlighten.
Thank you. Oh, she's gonna gather up her papers. I think that's all I really needed today.
Of course. Please go and enjoy your experiment. I am very interested to hear from the deans how well it is received.
Thank you. And she's gonna get up
and
and
leave.
she's gonna go.
Hey, how are you feeling, Falin? Sorry about that bomb.
So like, oh, so we fucked up.
Oh, so you like fucked up.
Yeah.
I think what's really interesting about this piece of information is it now gives you guys the context that you guys never got, where you would have been in more serious trouble, had the Mage Hunter thing not happened.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna pause really quick to go back to Motiva. Hello, Miva. You have left with your directive from your roommate to pick him up some black coffee, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you want to do today? Again, you can talk to Mina if you want, you can talk to Giselle if you want, but you don't have to do all of your plans in just this one day, because we can go through a couple different days.
Yeah. I think Motiva's going to go to Mina.
Okay, you're gonna go find Mina?
Yes. And she's gonna answer this text from Flynn.
Yeah, answer your text from Flynn. Okay, Slay. You go to find Mina. I'll say that you can find Mina, over in, the Star Room, so we can head on over to... And I will change the music.
Yahoo!
ADHD is just so misunderstood. Like, school was just terrible.
I hate that it will do ads now. Oh, this one's gonna have so many ads. Never mind. Hold on.
Yes, sir. I hate it. That's like the one single ad. It's just like the dude.
Oh no, this one has ads all the way throughout the video.
Ew.
Yeah, it had like 5, so I'm like, no. Alright, so you go on over to the Biblioplex and you go to find Miss Mina and you go to the Star Room, where you are used to your friends hanging out. And you see that Mina is kind of, going to, has like kind of a bunch of papers out in front of her as she kind of goes to, write down a bunch of, scribbled things on a bunch of different ones, whenever you roll up.
Hey. Hi.
Hi, you sound like you're up to trouble.
Yeah. Hey, can I bother you really quick?
And you see she kind of goes to lean back in her chair and she kind of taps her pen against her mouth and say, only if you make it worth my while.
Um, uh,
Oh, sweetheart, you know I'm joking.
not right now, I don't.
What's wrong?
What did, for your first year assignment, oh,
Do you mean my second year assignment?
no, yeah. Uh, Mina, and she goes to like sit next to her.
She goes to pat your little clawed hand and say, okay, tell me all about it. What's up?
I have to make a speech or an oration, and I'm scared I'm just gonna get mad.
What do you mean, mad?
They said to prove why you deserve to be in Silver Quill, and I just got really angry the more I thought on it, because she like motions to her hands and like to her scars, and she says, I almost died like 5 times getting here. And all the work I had to catch up on and all of that. I don't know. Is that like valid, I guess?
She lets you kind of go to off and vent, and she kind of nods, understandingly, and kind of puts her chin on her fist and say, I mean, I think that that's, like, fair. I mean, think about it this way. You would have had to do a different type of speech or oration or monologue for the next 3 years. I don't think it sounds like that hard of a thing to do when you already thought you'd need to be doing it.
I suppose. I'm sorry I'm going to you and not one of my counselors, but I don't. Men aren't valid, and
Don't like them.
I. My mother has always said, don't trust a man.
God, I know that's right. My mothers say the same thing.
Hey!
You guys have a
Uh,
moment where you high five for a second about having gay moms.
Gay mom squad. And she like nods and she says, like, my mom's tell me like don't trust men, and I'm just like, okay mom, whatever you say, you're probably right. And then I don't know. I don't think either of them would take well to me saying that I just want to get mad at the deans personally.
Well, I'll ask you another question then. Think about it this way, right? All you had to do on the graduation ceremony was to say which college you wanted to join, right?
Mm.
So now you're in it. Do you think do you think it would make you less mad if people saw the rough time you had last year and said, "Oh, she doesn't have to do anything. Just let her get in like a handout?"
Oh god, no, I'd be so mad.
Exactly. Everybody else who joins Silverquill has to do this. You know?
Okay.
And I think that it will come a lot easier than you think. And listen, if your oration gets mad, I mean, Silverquill doesn't dislike passion. They could think you have spunk or something. I wouldn't know. I was very put together during mine, so I can't speak on that.
Well, Miss Mina, you're always put together, so you don't
Thank
need to
you.
worry about anything.
Thank you. You're right. I never have to worry about anything.
Look at our talented Miss Mina Lee, star of the star. What would we do without her?
Don't know. I'm gonna have to teach you and Grayson how to actually fix this old thing when I'm gone. I won't be able to do it for you.
Oh, no, Mina, don't talk like that. I'll miss you.
Oh, there's a whole year left.
And it's not enough. Grayson is lucky. He got another year with you, and I only had 2.
Well, in your defense, Grayson didn't really interact with me too much until he joined Silverquill. So, you already got a leg up on that.
He didn't interact with you.
I mean, yeah, I was an upperclassman, and first years kind of do their own thing.
Can't relate.
Yeah, you love to stick your nose in people's business. And she goes to, like, pinch your nose really playfully. But that's why I like you. But I hope that talking about it has helped.
It
I
does.
If you want to get mad, then get mad. But I don't want you to think that it's targeted, I suppose. It sounds really melodramatic when I say it like this, but if something like this is enough to get under your skin, a lot of the shit that Silverquill professors pull will have you actually biting them.
I guess the reason why I feel so targeted is the entire time Killian Lou's dad was just glaring at me.
What did you do to get his attention?
Oh, I don't know. Shared a roommate? Oh, I don't know. Threw myself into the bog and stole a spell from a professor, and he had to grab me from Witherbloom. Oh, I don't know. Mina, there's so many things I do when you're not around.
I don't know if this makes it better or worse, but if Dean Ambrose Liu didn't like you or preyed upon your downfall, he wouldn't even look in your direction. So that must mean that he might actually be interested in what you have to show for it, but his attention isn't necessarily fun.
Oh, no. I didn't even see him get mad when I was in the bog because I already had passed out when I saw him.
I mean, hey, top 100, am I right?
Ah. Let's hope I can stay that way.
I mean, if you hate it, next exam you can just flunk it really bad and then get to the 200s, and then everybody will be like, oh, actually, maybe she sucks, and then they'll leave you alone.
No, never. I have to be the star of the show. Otherwise, how will I
I thought
feel
I
my
was the star of the
business?
show.
You know you're the star of the star, darling.
Alright. I guess there's room in the sky for more than one star.
Girls support girls.
I want her to ruffle your hair, honestly.
She grabs her hand.
She goes, ah!
Yes.
I don't want to be mean, but you know it's weird when you do that, right?
Um. Well, if Grayson can run around naked, my hair can wiggle. Listen, we hear about weirdos all the time at this school. My hair can wiggle freely. I don't control her.
Oh, to be a simple human maiden surrounded by magical creatures all the time.
I guess you would be one who likes that, huh? Want me to take you away into a forest, little lady?
Well, I was complaining about it, but maybe if you sweeten the deal, I'll be more interested.
Oh, speaking of mystical creatures, is it true that you're going on dates with Miss Giselle?
What, is she talking to you about it?
Oh yes, I have a sweet tooth for hearing about people's love lives.
She's been very brave. Every date we've gone on, she's been the one to ask me to go.
Mhm.
Damn near looks like she's gonna pass out every time, but I think that's cute.
I'm just saying, if you really want to see her actually pass out, you should ask her out on your own.
I'll think about it.
I'm gonna think about you, as she looks to her phone and is rapidly responding to Flynn. And she says, well, thank you for the advice. Seriously. And I'll talk to you later, okay?
Yeah, I'll be around. I'm still holding you to that promise that you would join our club.
I will. Pinky swear.
Okay. Have fun, champ. Uh,
Uh,
try to channel any of your feelings into something creative. It'll make you feel better.
Oh, I had a question.
Yeah?
Did they allow singing for the oration?
Yeah, there's a lot of musicians. Rubina from the orchestra was the conductor. Like,
Mhm.
a lot of musicians come to Silverquill.
Interesting.
Singing is an oration. Just gotta use your
You're not
words.
you're not wrong. And Motiva's gonna wink and she's gonna run off to get the coffee for Killian, and then she's gonna give it to him, and then she's gonna run off to find Flynn.
Okay, Slay, I'm gonna pause and switch the scene. Alright, Motiva, you run off, you get the coffee, you deposit it for your roommate, and without even waiting for any words, you speed off to the library cafe to go meet up with Flynn. It's not necessarily like nighttime, but it's definitely like probably zenith. After your kind of half days of doing your side stuff.
Slay.
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 You guys come up to the library cafe. It itself not having any seating areas, but you guys can pick up some tea and then go sit at one of the couches at the front of the biblioplex to talk.
Oh, and I didn't. Because my intention was to have a little group chat with Motiva and Will.
The way that the phones work actually is you can't make side group chats. You can text individual people or you can text the big group chat of everybody in it.
Ah, okay.
And so Girly
that
Pops
case.
is just your texts between you and Motiva.
Yes. Should I? I feel like when what?
Well, probably.
Yeah, I think he'll know what to do. So send that to Well.
Okay, Slay. You guys can chit chat while you send that off.
I think Fliss can get a snack while she's here.
Okay, Slay.
Snack. She'll get an almond croissant.
Get an almond croissant.
Would you like anything, Motiva?
Nuggets.
Nuggets.
Rat nuggets.
the rat ratatouille?
Yeah.
Yeah, Philip will get Motiva an order of those. I'm just gonna sit down and she's gonna say, well, how was your day?
Motiva thinks for a second and she says, a bit insightful. Still don't have to talk to my counselors though. I'm winning.
I've been meaning to ask about that. Are there counselors mean to you?
Well, I've only ever talked to one of them, but the other is Bane, and I simply. Motiva can't say that. Motiva thinks and says, my mother's had many wise words from me growing up, and the number one was, don't believe a damn thing a man says. And they've been right, so.
Huh.
Yeah. Found out Mina's parents are gay. Rock on.
Oh, delightful. This bitch is gay. Good for them. Good for them.
Yeah. I love. Was your day okay? Your text kind of worried me.
Yes, it was fine. I got some good advice from my experiments. I'm mainly concerned about the archives because I think I underestimated the intensity of it.
Oh.
Um, the school does not own the biblioplex or the archive. This is all the founders. We're kind of just allowed to use it.
Oh.
We should have gotten a much heavier punishment than we did for sneaking into the archives. I think the only reason we didn't is, well,
She scratches at her scar. Yeah. Probably.
mhm. So I think if we want to find an official way without sneaking down there, we will have to go higher up than I initially thought we would.
Oh. Okay.
I'm just gonna check her phone real quick and go and text back.
Slay.
Put the phone down.
Mhm.
I don't know where to begin with that though.
You okay?
Yes, I just I want to go down there really badly.
Yeah, me too.
The way that my counselor talked about it, made it seem like, oh, it's really dangerous. Like nobody's down there for a reason. And I feel like it was meant to dissuade me a bit, but I just want to go more now.
I mean, hey, it's an addictive thing getting to do something you're not supposed to.
There's so many secrets down there.
We're not there for the secrets, we're there for the dragon. Did you remember?
Well, yes,
You
but
can't
also
go
secrets.
you can't go reading willy-nilly. They won't let you in if they catch on that you're wanting to do that.
I know.
Whoever we have to talk to, we'll probably have to go through 15 trial tests to see if we're not Auric, planning on being Auric, or planning on hurting someone terribly.
Yes.
And there's also the fact that we can't promise that Philin, we can't promise that we'll stay perfect people. If we find something that we shouldn't see, and in the future we remember something we saw years ago, and it could hurt people. I sound like such a narc.
I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting this kind of talk from you. I appreciate it though.
I have to keep you humble. Keep me humble, keep you humble. It's equality.
We can keep each other humble. Not too humble though.
No, never.
The sounds of full in texting.
Yeah.
The sounds of Fulin looking down at her phone. Mattia's gonna look at Fulin and just be like, "Who are you texting, Fulin?"
I was trying to text Will to see if he could meet up with us, because I imagine he would know better how to get a hold of someone higher on the tree, so to speak.
I don't think Will knows shit
Well, he's been
about
here longer
this.
than us. I don't know.
I don't want to say it. I think we might have to go higher than a counselor or even a dean.
Well,
We
yes,
might.
that's why I'm.
I don't know if Will has first name connections with deans of Prismari. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, no, but maybe he could know the direction to go in or something. I don't know.
Or you just want to talk to him.
Well, I always want to talk to him.
I know.
Just
She just
give it a look.
watches. She watches Fulin on the phone, and she's just eating her fucking ratatouille. Yeah, I know. Don't worry. I know.
I'm gonna put her phone down after sending you a text and is gonna kind of lean on her hand and is gonna say, "So how are you and Lashawn doing?"
Together, thanks. Don't tell him I said
Really?
that. Kind of. I think. I think. I don't know if I should put a title to it, but he knows how I feel, so that's what matters to me.
Oh. Motiva, that's great though.
Yeah, I have to have. Oh, she like busts out her phone. And she like puts it down and she says, "There's a lot going on in my romantic life.
Oh. She
I
kind of leans
I
forward on both of her hands under her chin. Do tell.
I can't say anything yet. It well, you know how it is. You can't say anything unless you know it's official, right?
Well, I mean, you can't announce to people that you're in a relationship if you don't know it, but you can talk about the details.
She kind of sighs and she looks around. Where is anybody?
People are definitely around. The Biblioplex is not a very secretive place to talk. Nobody is
Yes.
sitting sort of next to you, but people are kind of milling out, into and out of the cafe and the school store, and you can see more people kind of through that like hallway that opens up into like the tables that people study at. You guys are probably on like one of the couches near like the posters for jobs and stuff.
Motiva is going to cover her mouth and she's going to use message.
Oh.
And she's going to look to Falin and she's going to say, I might be getting into a relationship with Nim and Adon Kai.
Flynn's gonna cover her mouth and use message.
The girl he's gossiping with message. It's not even it's not even it's just staring at each other intensely. Go ahead.
This is so funny because this is the magic version of like when two people are texting to gossip when they're right next to each other, but also you could do that. You would just start using magic, which I think is really funny.
Flynn's using one hand to cover her mouth to cast message, and then the other one is like holding onto Motiva's shoulder, like shaking her a little bit. It's like, Motiva! That's so exciting! My goodness, you have been busy.
She looks a bit flushed and she looks kind of girlish, one could say. And she nods and she says, she messages, it's just I can't promise them anything and I wouldn't make either of them promise anything to me, but and then she sends another message. I said that I would talk.
Fullen nods and says, "No, that's understandable. It's still, I mean, still, it's rather exciting. You understand, yes?"
I imagine that we don't have to like tell you Panini, but this is all in message. They're just messaging
Oh
each.
yeah.
Mativa like looks to Valin and like takes her hand and like shakes it, and she's just like, "Yes, it's why I said I can't say I'm officially with Ashawn, but I told him about this, and I told them that I wanted to talk with them, and they wanted me to talk with him because he's important and they're important, and I don't want to drag anybody around." Motiva's going to look to Falin and she's going to say, I've never been in a relationship before, so I want to make it right.
Oh, Motiva. I think unless Motiva stops her, Fullen is actually going to try and go in for a hug.
She will not
Aw.
stop her. She will give back the hug.
Wow.
And saying not in message. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. It's nice to feel happy.
Do keep me updated as things develop. I am highly invested in this. I hope you know.
She messages again. Are you and Eleni doing well? Is everything going okay with Will?
Philin nods and then pauses. I'm just gonna start messaging again. Eleni is doing very well. I'm so very happy with them. We actually Will and I the confessions and everything was a few days ago at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A few days ago, we actually talked. I guess you could call it that.
Her eyebrows go big. Huh?
He admitted feelings, but we are not we are not doing anything about it.
Oh. I'm sorry, Philin. I shouldn't have teased earlier then. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you.
No, it's okay. You didn't know. And it's even if we will not be doing anything about it now, I am hopeful that one day he can be happy with me. For now, I am content to stay as we are.
She puts her hands on Flynn's shoulder and she says out loud, I think you can make anybody happy. And I hope you know that.
Oh, you're very sweet.
I just don't lie.
It is no wonder you have so many suitors.
Possibly. I'm trying not to get my hopes up.
Gonna check her phone again. Will is talking about asking someone for a meeting with Paiva.
Oh, that's not even high up. That's the top, isn't it?
Voice of the founders. Who would we? Guess we just go to someone in administration.
We could. Do you think we could try to talk to Doriga?
Maybe.
Could
I guess
ask.
it's a good place to start as any.
I don't want to talk to a dean.
Why not?
Don't look at me like that, devil. They all are scary and weird.
I like that they're weird.
I do too. Motiva would find them quite intimidating.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
She stands up and she holds out a hand. Well, let's ask.
She'll take Motiva's hand and stand up and grab their food.
Yeah, they're eating. They're walking and eating.
They're walking and eating. Okay, so you hop on over to student resources.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. You hop step over and you walk away from the biblioplex along this sort of long bridge that takes you to Archway Commons. and you see that the day is full of bustling and excited students, and it's kind of interesting that you both are a little bit tense now as gaggles of fresh first years in groups, sort of talking animatedly and running around and touring the campus uh, as you guys are just walking. And a scant couple months ago, you were the same as them. And you go over to the student resources building. And you go in and you see where there's sort of that little side table, the counter that Doriga sits at with her sort of like magic typewriter computer combo. And you see that she goes to look at you, still looking the same as she did last year, this sort of big burly butch of a demon woman with a red skin and short cropped hair and huge curling horns. And honestly, arms similar to you, Motiva, now, where they kind of gradient from her like darkened coal like hands all the way up to her skin. And she looks at the both of you and gives you kind of a sharp-toothed smile and says, "Been a while. What can I do for you?"
This is student resources.
Yes, yes, you do know this. You have been here before.
Interesting. She looks to Flynn. Tell Doriga about the resources we require.
Yes. We were wondering if it would be possible to get a meeting with Taiva, and if so, how we would go about doing that.
You see her eyebrows kind of go up a bit and say, "A meeting with Taiva." And you see she goes to kind of pull something out of one of the drawers in her thing and pull out, basically like what looks like a stack of sticky notes, but parchment. And she goes to kind of slap it down and pull her claw up, ready to start writing, and say, "Not really my wheelhouse, but I can put in a message. Any reason why? Kiddos like you don't normally need to go that high up."
How do we say this unsuspiciously?
I don't know, that's up to you, but I think that Doriga kind of keeps talking while you guys panic and look at each other. Doriga kind of goes like, "If it's just that you wanted to see the Founder Dragons, they were here like a week ago. You should have talked to them then."
Sarah? Well, you see, we needed to get into the restricted archives to meet someone.
Yeah, okay. And she writes that down with her claw.
We want you to bring Miriam some newspapers. That exactly, please.
Alright. And she goes to, she's like grinning down at her paper and she goes to like write. And then she drags her nail along the bottom to make 2 lines, spins it over to you and says, "Sign, please."
Excuse me, I'm reading this.
It's in Infernal. Do you know Infernal?
Yes.
Wait. Yeah.
Oh, slay! That's fun. I thought you
Bitch.
guys knew Abyssal.
Wait.
I
do not know Infernal. I do know Abyssal.
I do know Infernal. Suck my nuts. I know Infernal and Abyssal.
It is exactly worded, your statement. She just needs your names because she needs to tell Taiva who is wanting a meeting.
Sick, slay, nasty. Motiva signs it, and she looks to Flynn and she says, "It's just telling Typha who the fuck this is."
Ah, okay. Fine.
Okay, and you do that, and she goes to take back her paper, and she goes to kind of fold it up and hold it between two fingers as it lights on fire and turns into smoke.
Oh.
Billows away. And she says, I'll tell you if he gets back to me.
Yay!
Thank you.
Listen, we had to shoot her shot.
Gotta shoot your shot always, kiddo. Does not mean they will land. And she goes to type on her little keyboard.
I don't want to get dragged by a demon.
I like Dorica. I think she's fun.
I like her.
I want to fuck that demon so bad. Motiva's gonna take Flynn, and then she's gonna push. She's gonna be like, "Get out! Get out! We need to get out!"
So something happens by the time you reach the doorway. As you hear another sort of like sound that sounds like flint hitting stone. And
Oh
then
my god!
a fire noise behind you. And as you almost push Falin out of the door, you hear Doriga say, in a voice that does not raise her voice to get your attention, she does not yell after you. She just says, "Hold up."
Oh.
And you both are glued to your spot.
Oh.
And bodily spun around.
Oh.
And says, "You can wait here."
What?
Huh?
There are benches right there. Take a seat.
Are we in trouble?
Don't know. I was just told to have you sit here and wait.
Oh.
Well, good thing we got snacks.
I fucking love Flynn.
I was just gonna go sit down.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys go sit down. And Doriga doesn't seem to be that bothered and doesn't seem to give you a second glance, and will go to keep doing the work that she does at her little typewriter. She will look at you if either of you try to get up, though.
God, I'm glad you know that Motiva would have tried, though.
I know. I'm gonna pause really quick. I'm gonna use the bathroom and I'm gonna get stuff set up for the next scene. Alright, so you guys sit and you eat your snacks. And you wait. And you wait. It takes about an hour for anything to happen. And eventually, Doriga kind of looks through some papers on her desk and goes to kind of look over at you both and say, "Alright, third door on the left down there. He should be ready to see you now."
Flynn will look to Motiva and just go to stand up.
Yep.
Well,
Mm.
Flynn's gonna actually, before they start walking, Flynn's gonna hold out her hand to Motiva.
Oh, Motiva's gonna hold her hand.
Yeah.
She'll take the lead. Be brave for the drow wife.
Motiva, you said you would lead the way?
Yes.
Alright. Alright, you walk over to the door, and you find it down this sort of long hallway, third door on the left. And it looks like an ordinary door. You open it?
Yeah.
Alright, you open it. And the architecture of the central campus and therefore student resources is very particular. It's a lot of white with sort of like teal and gold and these sort of like rounded spires and swirling detailing. It's definitely very unique. I put that at the beginning. It's really funny.
I didn't see it till now, sorry.
But when you open the door, the room does not look like it matches the rest of the architecture of the school. And you open it, and it almost looks like an antique parlor room with this sort of deep green carpet and these sort of double panel wooden walls with these sort of like eclectic portraits and paintings in little circular ornate picture frames. One or two bookshelves and these two very big windows. You see through the windows that Zenith is beginning to end and one of the suns, Eza, is setting. So there's this almost ephemeral look to the warm golden light spilling in. And you see that there is a desk and two chairs. Sitting behind the desk is the person that you would recognize that conducted your graduation ceremony as Taiva. Sort of tall and thin, a sort of severe looking face with dark skin and very short cropped white hair. And eyes that look a little bit big for his face. But standing behind and to the right of him is a person with sort of shoulder length, almost shag-like, white hair and a lighter tanned skin. And pink eyes, but what stands out about this person is that they are standing in a full suit of gleaming golden armor. And as you sort of open the door and take all of this in, Taiva goes to nod at the both of you and gesture with a sort of long, thin hand to sit in the chairs in front of him. And he says, I heard that you were wanting to talk to me. Please, come in and close the door behind you.
Motiva looks to Flynn. Close the door, Flynn.
She closes it.
You close it
And-
and you almost imperceptibly hear and feel a wash of magic over the door.
Oh!
No.
We're gonna fucking die! Okay, I guess we sin, because we can't get out now. Does that sound right, Sarah?
Yeah.
Oh lord, we sitting.
Okay,
Oh Lord, we
sit.
sin.
You go ahead and sit. And you see Taiva goes to kind of collect and fold his hands on the desk in front of him. And you see this desk is also kind of made of this like rich wood, like almost like redwood, lacquered bright and shining, with sort of like tchotchkes all over the top of the desk. And he nods his head and says, I'm sure since you asked for me, you know, but considering I've never spoken one-on-one with either of you, I am Taiva, voice of the founders. And out of hospitality, This is Janaya, uh, my current liaison with the Dragon's Guard. Can I have your names?
Thank you.
I didn't know which words, so I just put both.
Thank you.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. He asked if he could have your names.
Falin would kind of bow her head a little bit and say, I'm Falin Sarai.
I'm Motiva.
It's very nice to meet you both. Tarika gave me a summary of what you had wanted out of this meeting, but I thought I would give you the floor to speak for yourselves. You have my rapt attention.
Stop!
see, the tone is very polite. Everything else says danger.
Yeah. Sarah, do you want to talk or do you want me to talk?
Do you want to talk?
I have the best diplomacy, so let's go,
Yeah.
gamer. Motiva just nods and says, yes, whenever we were put in detention last year, it was because we found a hole into the mystical archives and we were caught by Miriam. And in getting out, we made a promise to bring her papers and news of the world. We haven't made good on that promise. Not yet, hopefully.
Roll a diplomacy.
Stop. Where's my diplomacy? Yeah, 18 plus 13. What the fuck is that?
31.
Yeah.
Taiva goes to say, without really a change in the expression on his face, he says, yes, I was made aware of the situation last year, and it was overshadowed by a couple other situations, but I think it is very commendable, and it shows a surprising and respectable empathy that you would promise such a thing to Miriam. If you have things that you would like for us to give her, I can give to her in your stead.
Damn.
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 I mean, yeah, but damn.
You know, Motiva nods and she says, I don't have an actual want to go to the mystical archives. I found her presence charming. I was mainly going to give her different papers from the star, and I was going to word to her different things that had been happening, but I would not mind putting that to paper. Terrible news for Falin. She genuinely means this. I don't think Motiva gives a shit about the fucking mystical archives.
Yeah, no, Falin has resigned herself.
Oh, you're not gonna fight for it?
No.
You could try.
I don't think. Honestly, after the way her counselor talked about it, she doesn't think there's gonna be an official way to get there now.
I do think, however, that Motiva, you say all these things, and Taiva nods and says, of course, this was, I imagine, sudden. Previous copies of the Strixhaven Star are relatively easy to get a hold of, and I am more than willing for you to pen down things that you would like to say to her. And then he's gonna look at Falin though.
Mhm.
And I think that he's gonna say, I haven't heard from you though. You're awfully quiet. Please, if you're intimidated by Janaya, I promise that she is, well, her bedside manner is very commendable, I think.
um,
Sorry, you can go ahead. I do think Janaya gives you a smile at that, but I do not think that it detracts from how intimidating that she's standing right now, you know?
um, Fleckful tries to give her a smile back and is gonna kind of look back to him and kind of shake her head. Oh no, no, I just I didn't really have anything else to add. Ooh.
Fair enough, I suppose. Well, if that is all you wanted to talk about, then that is fine. And you are welcome to leave whenever you like.
Motiva's gonna bust out her journal and she's gonna click her pen and she's gonna look and say, "Can you read chicken scratch?"
There are spells.
I'll
Silverpool's
take
bad
that as
handwriting is a little funny.
I don't have bad handwriting, but I want to write this fast as I have things to do as well. And she starts rapidly writing.
Okay.
I do feel like as Motiva is writing, Flynn is actually going to look to Tyva and is going to ask, how long have you been the voice for the founders? If I may ask.
You may. It is public knowledge. There's no reason to hide it necessarily. About 50 years now.
Ugh.
And how does one, I guess, get the position?
Generally, the voice of the founders is people have this idea that I am a principal or a chancellor of this establishment, but truly I am simply a person that has a means to speak with and make decisions for the founder dragons when they are not present. Generally, anyone wanting to work in this kind of field, and with that I also include, like the Dragon's Guard, people who work very closely with the founder dragons. It is just an interest and proving that you have the ability. There are many students in their time here that decide that that is a path that they are interested in trying to follow.
Sounds competitive.
I would not say competitive. It is not like we only choose small amounts of people, but very few people prove skilled enough to handle the work. It takes a certain kind of mind is a wrong word. It is not a matter of intellect, but a matter of being able to make the decisions that they would want in a timely manner without always needing to ask them. So it's just certain kinds of people go farther.
That makes sense.
Same with the Dragon's Guard. They generally help handle problems or do tasks for the founders when they have need of them.
Makes sense. I imagine she's like halfway to like a second page.
Yeah, that's fine. You guys can sit here until you're done with that. Tyva doesn't kick you out.
Nice.
Would I be getting a response or hearing what she said back?
I didn't realize your intention was to become pen pals.
She kind of thinks for a second and she says, I don't know. Never mind. And she keeps writing. Kind of thinking to herself, because she's kind of just like, wow, maybe I actually like Miriam and I want to talk to her more.
Yeah.
What the fuck does this mean?
When the founders sentenced Miran down there, was it for a specific time or is it just for all of eternity?
Well, considering... Question, 1 second.
I'm sorry.
If you are asking if there is a time when she would be freed, the only thing that would await her is her soul moving on.
Mhm.
The work that she is tasked with is important regardless of the reason why it is asked of her. And if well, what she serves is better and allows her to be herself for longer. So if the option is to let the Mystical Archive go unguarded and she does not even get a life after it, I don't see a point, frankly. I've never asked.
It is awfully lonely down there, though. Has there ever been 2 guards?
You see that Taiba almost huffs a laugh at that and gives you a weird little smile and says, I can forward that idea to the founders if we find another creature of sufficient strength to add to guards. I don't think that it would be a bad idea anyway, considering a group of students managed to find their way down there. Perhaps it's needed. Either way, I think that you show a commendable amount of empathy for this connection you are making with Miriam. Do you share the same empathy for the spirit statues on Lorehold? Or the pests sacrificed for their mana? At the end of the day, we... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Fun was actually gonna kind of like ears drooping a little bit because it did surprise me when I learned that's what they were for.
That is fair. I think when things are first introduced, they can seem harsh or strange. But everything serves a purpose, and there is a cycle to these things.
I think at some point, Fun is actually gonna look to Janaya and is going to say, "And how long have you been with the Dragon's Guard?"
I want Flynn.
Which is not. I feel like whenever Motiva is writing this letter and working on it, Philin is like, "I don't like the silence. I need to talk."
Fair enough. I think Janaya goes in this sort of situation where it is now, I want to say a little less scary and intimidating than the beginning. You feel that she kind of goes to like relax her stance a bit and kind of go to almost like a parade rest. And she gives you a grin and say, must have graduated 3 years ago now.
Ooh, rather recent.
Yes. No offense to the work, being a liaison for the school is a relatively low-level position among the Dragon's Guard. Happy to do it, but generally the newer ones are here. Gotta say, I'm glad there wasn't a problem today.
Motiva scratches down and she says, "Do you speak Scald?"
Who are you asking?
Either of them. Both of them.
You see them both go to think. And Janaya goes to shrug and say, not that I know of, but comprehend languages is easy enough to...
She kind of like thinks for a second and she says, "Thank you." And she does not write any Scald as she ends this very, very long letter with, "Thank you for sharing your words of my home with me. It's nice to have somebody to speak to. It was nice to have somebody to speak to." And then she passes over like a 5-page letter.
Yeah, you hand it over and Taiva kind of takes it in his hands and kind of like idly flips through it, but doesn't really like, it's like a skimming thing, not really like reading it, you know what I mean? Just kind of like checking to make sure that it's all there and that the ink is dried, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then taps them all together and lays them flat on the desk and says, I will deliver this to her. Um, if you have other gifts you would like to send to her, um, since you've already reached me through Doriga, that is an easy enough place to leave them. She can just tell me. I have a question for both of you before you leave.
I don't want to answer it. Go ahead.
This is not a question from the voice of the founders, but a question, a curiosity that I have been mulling over.
Yes.
This school is large and expansive, and you have your communities and comrades and connections all throughout it. Is it common for students these days to think people can't see you when you do things? Or when you step out of line that people don't watch you?
Audacity is everywhere, sir.
I suppose that would explain it. I think that that's an acceptable enough answer. I was just curious. Was there anything else?
Have you happened to catch the Auric members that attacked me and my friends last year?
Last year, no. We managed to ferret out a couple the year before. Last year, they were particularly elusive. I worry what that means for their techniques.
I suppose if they went after a dean's son, they would want to be hiding again.
Yes, that was bold. Glad to know that after that was handled, they scurried back into their whatever burrows they found on campus. I am sorry for what happened to you and your friends, truly. I am. But realistically, last year was one of the years where we had very little interference from them. Maybe they were scared. I am willing to tell you since you are so forward in asking me. Uh, the Dragon's Guard has been making moves to choke out cells of Auric in other cities. So maybe the disrupting of their communication lines could have affected that as well.
Matia's hand goes over her scar, and she says, I'd like to hope so. She looks to Fulin and she says, "You didn't hear me say that, by the way." She
Noted.
doesn't sound like strict with Fulin. She's just like kind of like bland face, just like, "Don't tell somebody I didn't say that." Haha.
Alright. Understand.
If you have any inkling of Auric presence, any faculty will be able to contact the nearest Dragon's Guard, or even call back the founders. We have contingency after contingency after contingency to keep this place safe. So I hope if you share these same hopes, that we can count on your eyes on the ground as well.
Flynn will nod and say, "We will keep our eyes peeled."
I have no love for the Auric. I'd be willing to help.
Good. I would be worried if you were the kind of people to say no, frankly. But do try to enjoy your school year. Whenever you're ready.
We'll just go ahead and stand up out of the chair.
As soon as you go to stand up, Janaya doesn't wait for you to approach the door. She actually goes to walk to the door to grab the handle and say a few words and then open the door for you both.
Subtle.
But they weren't trying to be.
No.
They did not care about being subtle this entire time.
Yeah. These boots are made for walking. Motiva gets up and she goes.
Okay.
Flynn's gonna give a little bow to Time and say, "Thank you for your time."
Of course. Don't hesitate to reach out again.
Don't tell me
Sure
what.
not.
Motiva does not say. I know it's in her brain though. I know it's in her brain. Just like, don't
Yeah.
tell me what the fuck to do.
Alright. You both walk out of the room and the door's closed behind you. And you hear another click and another kind of surge of magic, and you are alone in the hallway.
Well, that's a something.
Ugh. 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 She takes Motiva takes Flynn's hand and she just starts making them walk and she's just making noises the entire time.
Yeah, where are you going?
Out.
Out, away.
Yeah, where?
I don't know, the fucking Bow's End.
Okay, you guys can go to the Bow's End. Let me get some lively tavern music really quick. Alright, you guys go and you find the Bow's End Tavern. It's pretty bumpin' right now, but you manage to find a table off to the side. And you can actually put your guys where you want to be at on the little map.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Morena, hello. Hi. Alex is around the table.
Yeah, I put
It's
you
just
guys at
around
a
the table.
table just whenever I was setting everybody on the thing, but you guys can move wherever you want.
I think this is a pretty good spot, personally.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. You guys go to the Bosun Tavern. And you find a spot to sit down. Oh, what are you guys doing? How are you guys feeling?
I think part of Phil is feeling a little annoyed.
Do you think Miva would catch on to that?
I think so.
Sat down, Motif is just gonna look at Flynn and just be like, what's crawling up your ass? What's wrong?
I wanted to be able to see her, or at least have letters back and forth.
Are you sure you just don't want to go under?
Well, I also want to do that.
Well, I mean, considering they obviously know that we are up to nonsense, I can't blame them for not wanting to let us go.
It's understandable.
I know it is. That's why you're mad.
Yeah. If it wasn't understandable, I could just mimes hitting something and go in there.
Are you gonna say you'd fight them?
No, break in.
Oh. Have fun with that. I'm sure they've covered every cubby that could have led to the archives now.
Mm-mm.
There's a very good reason why I haven't tried. Besides generally not caring about the archives, I don't. Flynn, if you try to go back down there, they won't let you off with just detention. You'd probably just be sent back to Exandria.
I know, which is why I'm not going to.
And that's if they're being nice. Who's in the bar tonight?
Yeah, so as you guys are kind of talking and chit-chatting, you see that Javanish is behind the bar. You see that River is doing their like bussing serving thing. Um and so by this time I actually think that they sidle over to your table to take your order. And I have to roll something really quick.
Mhm.
Okay, 1 second. You see River come up with a sort of little notebook in hand. There's like a tray that's kind of like held under their armpit in case they need to bring stuff over. Um, and they come up to you to take your order, and it is not difficult to tell that first of all, River is not as exuberant or high energy as they normally are. Like, they are normally bouncing off the walls, running around all the time. But you also know, Motiva, you're friends with River. River has established that River likes you. River is usually very excited to see you and talk to you, and they aren't. and you see that they kind of come up and almost immediately go to like put their pen to paper to wait for your order and don't even greet either of you, and they're staring at the
Oh.
table.
Motiva's gonna look at River and she's gonna say, "Hi, are you? Hi, River."
Hey, what can I get you?
Motiva's just gonna look to River and she's gonna look with all the sympathy that she can muster and say, "Are you okay? Should you be working right now?"
I'm fine. And the minute they go to say fine, they burst into tears at your table.
Motiva's going to grab River and she's gonna say, "Come on, come 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 on."
Where are you taking River?
Out back.
Okay.
Out back
Oh my
like
god.
Old Yeller.
Okay.
Not Old Yeller!
Okay. Okay, you drag River out back. Flynn, are you going?
Absolutely.
Okay, come on, everybody, let's go. Hop step out the door.
Sister!
Fuck, I gotta close the menu. Over the crates, over the crates.
Oh god.
Okay, awesome. So they don't even fight you as you kind of drag them out. And they go to like, almost like, saying fall to their knees sounds so dramatic, but they go to like sit on the ground.
We'll sit
Oh.
next to them.
River,
Okay.
what's wrong?
Did something happen?
Hey. Motiva, I wanted to find you and talk to you, but I had this stupid shift, and I need the money, and I...
You can talk to us, River. You can talk to me. Flynn won't judge either.
I
2
needed
lives
to-
under her belt. Yeah, 2 lives under her belt. She can definitely help if I can.
It's really bad.
I don't think it can be that bad.
It's Fletcher.
Oh no, what's wrong?
He's just really upset, and I don't know what to do about it, and he won't really talk to me.
Oh.
Do you know what happened?
Yeah.
Motiva's gonna sit next to River and she's gonna get down, not on her on her fucking ass because these shorts are expensive, but she's like, what's the fucking phrase? Slav squatting?
Yeah.
She's Slav squatting in front of River and she's gonna pet and she's gonna say, "River, I need you to know you can talk to us. You can say anything. And I won't judge you. I won't get upset. And I'll give you an honest opinion. Okay? What's wrong?" Do I have to roll diplomacy?
No, I think that they would. I think they look at you, and I think they look at you with their big old baby cow brown eyes. Ghibli tears down their face.
Oh.
And they just say, Motiva's pregnant.
Motiva's gonna fucking steal herself. She is going to steal herself. Deception immediately. Motiva's just gonna keep a straight fucking face.
Okay, hold on, I'm rolling that really quick.
Oh my god!
Hi,
If
everybody.
if River has Ghibli tears, Motiva has the fucking Ghibli hair fucking scruff.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Okay. Okay, so what are you doing?
Motiva's going to keep a straight face, and she's going to look to River and say, "Okay, is this? Where's the problem, though? Where's the disconnect between you and Fletcher on this?"
No, he's... I don't know. He's really upset and he's not talking to me. And I think he's mad. But I don't...
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I take it this was not a planned instance.
Didn't think people could really plan it when it happened.
And when you found out that Fletcher was pregnant, did you have a conversation about it, or did you just immediately go quiet?
I don't know, he kind of shut down about it.
I mean, he is trans. He's allowed to get upset, but you both need to have a conversation about this. Do you think it's a worry about money?
It could be. I know Fletcher and his dad didn't have a great time of it. I don't know. I thought I'd give him some space for a bit, but I just keep thinking about it. I don't like that he's upset, you know, but I don't know how to fix it.
No, that's fair. I'm
It can be a hard
sorry.
one to navigate.
Have you... Motiva like scratches at her head and she says, "I can try to talk to Fletcher, but I never really talked to him all that much one-on-one."
Do you think it would help if we talk to him to try and set up a time for you two to talk?
I think River kind of just sniffles for a bit and kind of goes to try to wipe their face and says, I don't know, maybe you could, but I don't... You're right. I know that you guys and Fletcher aren't really that close, so you don't gotta go out of your way to do anything if you don't want.
I do want to.
If there's anything we can do to help, we would like to.
When did you find out about this exactly?
Today.
Ooh.
It was this morning.
Oh. And you guys share a dorm, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Share a dorm with other people, you know. Okay.
I'm surprised you even managed to find time for Fletcher to, you know.
I from from what I know of stuff like that, I figured it was a while ago when it happened. So we only just found out.
I'm sorry, can I interrupt something?
Yeah,
Can I
what's up?
interrupt to say this thing? You know, whenever people like announce that they're pregnant and stuff, and literally all in the back of your head, you're just thinking they fucked. Oh, they
Yeah.
fucked.
They fucked
Ah!
nasty.
They fucked nasty style. God, Jesus, fuck. Motiva, straight face, is just like, I understand. It's hard to keep track of stuff like that. I will say, I think River, I think that me and Flynn can try to set up all we want, but I think you going to Fletcher on your own and asking what you can do to help, I think it would make him the happiest rather than me and Flynn coming up to him.
I know, I wasn't trying to ask you to do that.
No, I know. I'm suggesting that maybe we could also set up a thing at the witch's clinic so that you can learn how birth control works.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I understand maybe that you want somebody to be pregnant and happy, but you should learn how this works.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something that Fletcher doesn't totally understand either if he didn't bring it up to you. Maybe if he's worried about having a kid, he doesn't totally understand that doesn't have to. Oh. There's a cat in the fucking back of the tavern. Ma, there's a red cat outside.
2 alley cats are fighting outside. Sorry, your cat's really cute. Yeah, I think River goes to kind of wipe at their face and goes, yeah, you're right.
Also, I know you need the money, but River, if you really need money, you can talk to me and I'll help. If you're feeling this distressed, you shouldn't be pushing yourself like this.
How much were you going to get paid tonight?
So the way that jobs in Strixhaven work is not you don't get paid per night, you get paid per week.
Well,
Uh
I know, but how much is the
How
day
much were you
worth,
gonna get paid?
essentially?
the math is hard because it's 5 gold a week.
Ooh.
Okay.
Bad at
Flynn is
math.
just going. Flynn is going to give him 10 gold.
Oh.
10 gold.
Oh my
Sorry.
god.
Motiva watches the purse get dropped in and is just like, oh.
And she's going to look to them and is going to say, "Take as much time off as you need to."
Flynn.
Javanus is your buddy. I think if
I know. He told me I
You-
didn't have to come in, but I felt bad.
don't feel bad. If you're miserable, that's all he's gonna think about.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna think about. You think I didn't notice the second you came up with your sad puppy face and you didn't say hi or anything. You were so sad.
I was trying so hard.
No.
You were trying too hard and it's how I knew.
Okay, I'll go talk to Javanish. It's not too busy and people can just come up to the bar if they need to order.
Motiva's gonna pull out a piece of paper and she's gonna say, "You can read now?"
Yeah, mostly.
Motiva's gonna write down like her top 5 places where she is all the time, and she's gonna hand it to River. And she's going to say, "I am always in one of these places, and my dorm room is dorm 63 at Silver Quill." Okay? She looks to Flynn and say, "What tower do you live in?"
Let me remember. Fuck.
Don't fuck.
I think it's Tower 3.
Probably.
She would tell them where she is.
It's like, oh, you have to check it on the main the main Strixhaven
Shit.
University. I'm sorry. Yeah, Tower 3, floor 4.
Tower 3, 4th floor. She would also say that she is very often at the Biblioplex.
Flynn also knows a lot about medicine. Well, she knows more than me, at least. She's not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor. I was a healer though, and I have been pregnant before.
Oh. Oh,
You
that's right.
have?
Yes, I had a kid.
Huh. Sorry, I didn't have anywhere to go with that. I was just surprised.
It's all right.
I am too.
Have I never told you about him?
No, I just forget.
Hi, Stan.
Thank you, Stan. She looks to River and she says, "Is this too much? Is this not enough? Will you be okay?"
Yeah, I think I'll be okay, and I hope that he'll be okay. I'll go talk to Javanish, and I'll go home and I'll go try to talk to him again.
Okay.
Maybe I'll go to the witch's clinic and talk to Nim about it.
I think that wouldn't hurt. She's gonna go in River's face and she's gonna hold each side of their head and she's gonna go forehead to forehead and she's gonna say, "River, Fletcher cares about you a lot."
I think I love him.
Oh. She looks to River and she says, "River, I'll make you a deal. If you can manage to do this, I will give you all the hot goss about my love life for the past year.
Okay.
And I will promise you, Fletcher being upset about this will. You'll feel a lot better for how stupid I've been.
We can have drinks and commiserate.
And you'll be happy then. Because you'll be. I think you'll do fine. I think Fletcher loves you too.
You'll do great.
River goes to nod, and you see tears are welling up in their eyes again.
Oh,
But they
she's
just
rubbing
kinda-
them.
They just kind of nuzzle your forehead where your faces are touching, and they go, okay.
She motions for Falin to join in on the burrow hug.
Yeah.
Nice. We are hugging on the ground.
We are
Yeah.
hugging the river. The river is being hugged.
It's true. The river is being group hugged. Ow woo.
Ah, woo!
The saddest ow woo on campus. But I think after a little bit more of you guys talking, River is gonna hug both of you again one more time and go inside to go talk to Javanish. Hi besties, how are we feeling?
I love River!
I like River a lot.
I hope that it goes well. I expect a full fucking dissertation on how this went by my office tonight.
Yeah.
I have many thoughts about how it's gonna go. I had a lot of things prepared because I didn't know if you guys were gonna go with River or not, or do it yourself. I wanted you guys to have the freedom of how you thought it would be best to handle it.
Thank you. Motiva's going to try to inconspicuously go back inside.
Okay, hold on. I am rolling the stealths. Awesome. So you guys go back inside. Hold on. I'm bringing back sister.
Thank you. Oh, to be a little sister. Oh,
The descent.
Yes.
oh Lord, she running.
So you guys go back to your table after River comes in, and you try really hard to inconspicuously do it, but you see River talking to Javanish, and Javanish picking up a talon to kind of ruffle their hair and push them towards the door. But you see that Motiva specifically, you see that he clocked that you came in from the same direction after River came back in. But it doesn't do anything about it.
She gives a an Irish nod. She gives a cool guy nod. And go ahead.
I was just gonna say he gives a 2-finger salute. Go ahead.
Motiva's gonna look to Falin and she's going to say, so I'm going to be honest. I did have plans tonight.
Oh?
I need to talk to Nim. And Adon Kai, I need to talk to them.
Yes. Flynn is going to grab Motiva's hands, look her in the eye, say, "We're going to do great."
I wish Motiva was pregnant with
I'm
one of
sorry.
their kids.
It was a really funny statement. I just wanted to say it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. It was funny. I realized it as I was saying. I was just like, this sounds kind of serious. Motiva nods and she says, I thank you. She goes to give a peck of a kiss on Falin's horns. And she says, I'll talk to you later, okay? We'll meet up.
Give me updates.
Yeah, we can talk tomorrow to see how it goes. I'll tell you how it goes.
Yes. All right. Good luck. Is going to give a little peck to the back of one of her hands.
Okay.
Tee. Gaze.
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 Gaze, 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 gaze.
Okay,
gaze,
so
gaze.
you guys are gonna split up. So let me reset up the screen. Motiva. Do you go over to Nim's cabin?
Yes, I think she will quickly send over a text and be like, are you at your cabin or are you still in the clinic?
Oh, you should send that.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
love keeping documentation of the texts. Sorry if that's annoying. I do that in Fly Free also. If you send a text verbally. You have to send it.
Mativa looks at the text and she like squints before she very carefully goes to the cabin.
Okay. Are you gonna fly?
Yeah. She's gonna fly, and then whenever she actually lands, she's going to politely put her broom away.
Okay. You go to float gently through the bog. As twilight settles really heavy in this time of evening, it's still bright, but some of the things out in the bog are starting to quiet down. You're not seeing as many students walking around. And I would say, honestly, that it is kind of peaceful as you make your way to the cabin that you feel like you could find in the dark by now. And you hop off the broom right in front of the cabin, and what do you do? The curtains are drawn, so they are not open.
Mativa is going to knock, quote unquote. She's going to knock on the side of the curtain, and she's going to say, "I'm coming in." And she's going to very carefully open the curtain.
Yeah, so you gotta carefully open the curtain, and you kind of see an almost funny sight as both Nim and Adonkai are kind of lounging on the ground on pillows, on blankets, Adonkai on his side. And Nim was not kidding about being buried in paperwork, as both of them are kind of looking over what looks like lesson plans, filling out forms, things like inventory for both of their shops and that sort of thing, as they're kind of idly sitting around. And you come in at like the behest of like you call out that you're coming in. And Kai just kind of answers with like a yeah, like a non-committal, like come on in type of situation. Um, and Nim goes to kind of look up from the papers to look at you and kind of give you a ghost of a smile and say, well, there's the girl of the hour. If you can find a place that's not taken up by parchment, you're welcome to have a seat.
Is there a place she can manage to sit?
Yeah, you can either sit on a table or on Nim's futon.
She
or
sits
near
very
the bathtub.
She is going to be a little goblin, and she's going to sit on the table.
Okay, you can do that. You sit cross-legged on top of a table that only has a couple teacups and potion bottles, so you don't have to worry too much about being too careful. As you kind of watch them flip through some papers, and Adonkai gives you kind of a grin and say, Nim said you were going to visit, but I didn't really know when.
Yeah, I got, she like massages her hair, her fucking temples, and she says, I think it's very sweet when my friends ask me for advice that I'm not always qualified for.
Oh, but that means that they think you're the mature and responsible one. Don't let them think that you're wrong just yet.
Not just yet, but they're. Oh, so much has happened today already.
Yeah, don't I know it? I feel like people think that the beginning of the school year, just because there's no classes, means that it's a break for everybody, but more often than not, we're all running around.
Yeah. I I got to speak to Taiva.
You see them both go to look at you and say, and you see Nim says, Taiva, I didn't think that he had a tendency to walk around talking to students.
Oh no, I went to Doriga and asked, well, me and Falin specifically asked for an audience, and it. Oh, she looks at the cabin. Oh, it's intense.
He isn't. He is known for being a bit intense. Were you trying to talk to one of the dragons or something? Nim kind of pipes up and say, interested in the Dragon's Guard? I haven't heard anything about that from you yet.
No. She scratches her head and she says, "Do you two know why I got sent to the bog?"
I don't. Sorry, I'm trying not to be a little shit. This whole campus is the bog, so I feel like they would need you to be more specific.
Do you guys know why I got detention?
You see that they both kind of like sigh, and they almost look towards each other kind of uncomfortably. And Nim goes to clear their throat and say, I didn't have specifics, but I knew that you were being put under a bit of a watch afterwards.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, poor Falin. We've happened across the Forbidden Archives.
Hold on, I have to look something up really quick.
Me fucking boogieing to the Witherbloom music.
It's good.
It's fucking great. What the fuck could you be looking up?
I have a question for you because I can't find it. Have you ever shared with these two your real name?
No.
Okay, good. Because Nim slaps down a paper and says Motiva.
She twirls her hair and she says, "Hi."
They kind of look. They don't show a lot of emotion on their face, but they kind of look at you incredulously, mouth agape a little bit, as they kind of just like look at you. And then they go to look over at Adonkai, who also looks really surprised. And Nim, in a fit of emotion, takes the stack of papers that are in their hand, and they almost like smack Adonkai in the face with them, and just goes to fucking mutter in vehement Elvish that everyone in the room understands. You're being a bad influence on her.
She's gonna look and she says he didn't do anything.
And Dog Kai's like, I didn't do anything!
He didn't even know.
Dog Kai is just like, how the hell did you even pull that off? How are you not in the fucking... You're not in a ward right now.
She points to her scars and she says, I paid my price.
To
I
karma,
wasn't-
maybe.
She shrugs and she says, I'm sure I'm on a watch list, so.
Well, as long as you know.
Oh, don't worry. She fucking rolls her hinges. I already knew I was kind of on a watch list, being one of the people who were planeswalkers. I'm not surprised. It was a lot. I sent a letter. Flynn probably actually wanted to go. I don't want to.
Well, I guess it's best to wash your hands of trouble after such an eventful first year. And it kind of huffs a bit. Um, um, you see Nim goes to just sigh a bit and start picking up a bunch of their papers, almost clearing off a spot for you. And they go to wrap their knuckles against the wood and say, come sit down.
Okay, I'll sit down like a person, and she sits
You're
where
always
she
a
is
person.
motioned. You know what I mean.
Well, when you're not a fox.
It's fun.
I would know a lot of Witherbloom students prefer to take forms like that. And you see that Nim kind of looks at you, trying to think of how to segue into a conversation, but Adon Kai kind of just watches the both of you interact as Nim goes to almost smooth down your hair and straighten your uniform. And Kai's just gonna say, so you talked to him?
I did. He... Whenever the graduation and the party happened, he had a long talk with a friend of mine. I didn't get to hear anything from it, but I wonder if it did anything to affect his reaction, because he's fine. He made a joke about something that will have to be addressed, but he said it was fine. And that we could talk about this, and he said he didn't want to be here for this yet. She looks to Kai and says, I think he'll talk to you eventually, since you're the closest to him. He also... I think he thinks you're a bit too stuffy for his taste, Nim.
You see Nim goes to think of something to say, but Kai just kind of nudges Nim where he can reach them and say, oh, I think this one doesn't suit a lot of people's tastes. Fair enough if he's as looks between you and Nim. Difficult, as you say, but
Don't worry. If he speaks to you, you'll understand.
well, he's one of my students, I guess. So,
Oh, is he in your class?
I mean, he's on my college. He's probably going to be coming to the pawn shop, and I do a lot of introductory classes. So, I mean, if he comes to talk to me, I'll handle it. I'm a big guy. I won't
She
get upset about it, I guess.
she kind of smiles at the big guy comment.
Oh, shut up.
And well, I think it would be good for him. He's starting to calm down more and he's talking to people. I think coming here has been good for him, even if he doesn't want to admit it.
I mean, we can only hope, you know? Like I said, I'll try to get his head screwed on right. And if he wants to puff up his chest at me, it won't be too big of a deal. And this whole time, Nim has been a little bit quiet, kind of taking in how you guys are talking about it. And after a minute, Nim is going to take one of your hands in both of theirs and just kind of look at you and say, he said he was fine.
Yeah,
Do you believe him?
I do. It wasn't the only thing we talked about, but it was a terribly emotional conversation. If he had lied, I would have known. I know his tells very well.
Nim goes to kind of nod and looks kind of thoughtful about it and say, well, we'll just have to take him at his word then. But I guess that's not the only thing I have to talk about tonight. What are you thinking
Go
in
on.
there?
Oh, well, her other hand goes to like hold her chin and she says, "Oh, too many things. I will oh gosh." She looks like she wants to slump onto the ground, but she's doing her best not to give in to that. And she says, "I have never had conversations like this. I don't know where to begin."
We can start somewhere simple. How about that?
That sounds nice.
What do you want?
Oh. Ooh. Can I sense motive?
So the really interesting thing about sense motive is not an insight check like what emotional state they're in. It's to check if there is magic affecting them or if they are lying.
Ooh. Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
So,
Okay.
This is a
Never
question
mind.
you just have to read from them.
I just gotta go with my gut. My guts. Oh, my guts.
Oh, sorry, everybody. 1 second. I have to pause. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
So Nim asked, what do you want?
Yeah.
Motiva's going to think, and she's going to look at their hand, and she's going to look at Kai, and she's going to offer her hand to him, her free hand.
I will take it and kind of lace fingers together and give the back of the hand a little kiss.
uh, I I can't say I'll know exactly what I need because I don't know yet. But I know right now I want to make the people I care about happy. And at the same time, I also want to be happy myself. I've spent a lot of my life doing what made my family pleased or doing what I thought would please others. And that isn't to say I'm going to go AWOL and destroy everything that I don't like, but I want to start doing things for myself as well. I'm sorry if that sounds selfish, but I want things to matter.
I think Nim gives you a bit of a smile and says, for someone who wanted something simple, that was a very complex answer you gave.
Feelings are complex.
How about this then? I think that that's commendable, and I think that all we can ever do is what we want. I think living for yourself is a natural condition of being alive. I suppose the question I give you then, and I guess this is more the question that I meant, what do you want this to be? What do you want to give? What do you want back? If you want, I can start.
Yes, please.
Nim is gonna nod and kind of look at you like, in this sort of like understanding and very sympathetic gaze, and is gonna put a hand on your jaw and is gonna lean in and kiss you. And by the time they pull back, they say, "That's what I want. I want that to mean something. Whatever that may end up being." If you would rather leave it at just we do what we want and try to make each other happy, then that's fine. I suppose some direction is nice for everyone involved, keeps lines from getting crossed. The last thing I would want is to be out somewhere and call you something you're not. even if we'll
God.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just dying. Go ahead. I thought it was
Uh,
muted.
I think I think Nim is just gonna say, even if the only moments that we have together are stolen away in this cabin in the middle of the night when we should be doing other things, then that's fine. I just need to know. I'm a fan of reaping what I sow, and I've never liked putting feelings and energy and care into something with no direction. And please pardon if that makes me sound selfish.
No, it's not. Motiva's kind of like looking up, kind of grateful that she doesn't have pupils anymore because they would be the size of the fucking moon.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to look to Kai and say, "What do you want?"
I think he's just gonna smile at you and say, I thought we were asking you the questions first. I can go last, I don't mind.
Her toes are curling in her boots, and she says, "Do you mean like partners?"
Are you asking that to Adonkai or to Nim?
Both.
Adonkai is gonna kind of look at you. You see he shrugs a shoulder and like he's kind of like lounging on the ground, but he kind of fully like lays on the ground a bit with like a bit of a groan to like look up at the ceiling and says, I mean, that direction sounds nice. I come with my own caveats, but I don't mind that kind of title. And Nim's answer is a bit more complicated. And Nim says, you don't have to be a partner or a lover or even something as esoteric as a wife. I just need to know that you will be there. I made a comment like this the first time we broached any kind of subject about this, but I care very deeply. I am a person of the home and of roots and of building something. And being with me doesn't mean that you have to be someone that knows the paths that life will take us, but all I can ask is that you will be there and not leave, I guess. That's all I need. It can have any name that you want it to have. It can have any stipulations you want it to have. But like me and this young man over here, it doesn't have to have the kind of label that most people would put on it. Well, now I'm being complex.
I was gonna say, I just told you I didn't know anything about this. Oh,
Well, I tried to keep it simple. When I asked what you wanted, I thought I would get an answer like, I want to kiss, I want bed partners, I want someone to take out on little dates, or someone to bring home to my mother's, that sort of thing. Those are easy checklists to meet.
oh God. Oh,
Uh.
she's so red.
I was trying to ask what you wanted out of this, or what you wanted to give. That's what I meant. We can start with the small things and figure it out from there.
I I don't know how easy it would be for you to meet my mothers.
Well, we don't have to. It's just if that's something you want out of a partner.
She kind of thinks and she says, I don't like. Uh, I don't like the idea of just having a bedmate. It that lack of definition, it makes my head hurt.
I agree. At the very least, if we make something out of this, I'll love you. I don't make any decisions I'm not sure of. So let's put that on the table then. And I'd like to make sure that you're sure as well.
I agree. It's the only reason why I'm willing to talk to you two about this. I It's one of the reasons I never really got into things like this. That promise of somebody who would stay and care was never entirely there. I like the idea of building a home. I like the idea. I like family and friends. Um, I do like dates.
I like them on occasion. That can be something that can be arranged. I'm glad we can see eye to eye on this at least a little bit. Um, Kai will have his moment in in a minute, I am sure, so you'll hear about this, but I also know that you are a very powerful and high demand individual that goes on romps around the multiverse. That sense of adventure is something admirable in you and also in Kai, but if I will be honest, I don't like it. So, if that is something that will be prominent, I deal with it fine enough with this one. This bud that we are tending, though, may need a bit more support in that situation. If I feel like
Ah.
there is a natural distance forming, I may have to cut my losses when I feel like I can.
I understand, and that's your right.
I know it is not nice to hear. Everyone wants a spouse that waits for them and is fine with the loneliness, but I'm not. Okay, here we go.
Motiva will nod and say, if it makes you feel any better about the traveling, I am hesitant now, after everything that happened, to travel of my own accord. Most planes, I get sick even being on Silverquill without touching a tree every other day. And I know that there's many planes that are very dangerous. If I go to another plane, it would be because I was specifically asked. And she looks a bit stressed and she says, I can't get into a relationship unless I also would know it's a long time commitment. I can't stand the idea of being in a relationship and it not being serious in some way or another. It's not just important to me, it is a necessity. And I'm more than willing, if I ever have to travel, to come back and help and be there for you. And she also stretches her legs and says, I am also embarrassed to say this, but I find marriage very important. And I find the idea of having a family very important to me. That is something I would want to talk about in the long term.
That's something that's on the table, at least for me. I understand your concerns about travel, and it is nice to know that you won't be as untethered as this one, but I'm having a hard time thinking of how exactly they would word this, but even if it was just like traveling a lot, even on Arcabios, it is the act of being away from them. You know what I mean? Or not spending a lot of time with them, or like keeping in touch with them necessarily. So like, they would be relieved to know that you don't plan to travel a lot, but like they're just making sure that like even if it wasn't like even if it's not like a year-long trip to like another plane, like even like a couple months here would make them be a little, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Motiva would nod and say, if it makes you feel any better, whenever you eventually leave, I would be willing to find a way to accommodate that, but I have no need to leave Strixhaven. And in fact, we have been encouraged as planeswalkers to not leave Strixhaven campus, as we are not from here, and planeswalkers tend to leave a trail of fire.
So I've heard. That's good. And again, don't. We are busy individuals with jobs and studying, so I also understand. I just thought since I thought I would put it out there.
No,
So
thank you.
thank you for being honest. I think that by this point, I think that Nim actually feels really satisfied with talking to you about this, so it's probably gonna kind of tap their knuckle on Kai's head, knock knock, and say, "You have a beautiful woman pouring her heart out, and you don't have anything to say about it." And Kai just kind of gives Nim a really like affectionate smile before going to sit up to talk with you also. Um, I think that Kai's gonna start with asking outright, like kind of looking you over with like this sort of like small smile on his face, and is gonna kind of say, "So you want to get married?"
Her legs curl up. And she says, yes, it's something that's important to me.
I think that's really cute. I think that's something that I don't know if it makes sense, but I think it suits you. You see his like knees are kind of like up, and he has his like arms like on his knees kind of, but it's in this like kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's a very like loose pose in my mind. But he kind of goes to look at the ceiling and say, "I wish that I could see the appeal in that sort of thing, but I have a bit of a thing about being weighed down too much. I like you a lot. I like a really stable bond, but I think that's something that will be important to keep in mind. If you want something like that with me, is that more times than not, your grip is going to have to be a bit looser to not make me want to step away." It's not like I'm against commitment or anything, but in my experience, I feel like I see more times than not it makes people want other people to change. I don't know if I'm making much sense.
No, I understand. She kind of like thinks for a second, and she looks like she wants to say something, but she holds back her tongue, and she ends up just saying, I've always made it a point to never force anyone to do anything and to always leave a loose string for someone else to what's oh god, how did you say it, Panini, that one time where like it's just like Motiva gives a lot of space for somebody to like make the move when they want to?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what she says.
Slay, I think that that kind of makes him give you a bit of a grin and say, I think that that sounds really nice. So I hope that in practice that keeps up. But in the meantime, you can just think of me as I don't know, your alley cat of a boyfriend. Put food out, I'll come over, but gonna be walking up and down the street more times than not.
I can't lie. I think she has a big grin at that, and she says, You definitely have the dust on you to be an alley cat."
Now, are you saying you were gonna give me a bath?
I think you can give yourself a bath if you're a cat. Be a pretty
Yeah,
bad
but it'd
cat
be
if you
fun.
can't. Ah. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
I think that's mainly my thing then, is fun and the stability to come and go and know when I come back things will still be the same. And I mean, if you're not, I don't know if you, I don't think you said anything about it, but if labels or titles aren't your thing, that's fine, but I'm more than willing to be upfront about any sort of relationship we have.
I actually personally would need a label to things. Even when I had that talk with Ashan, I told him it's impossible for me to think straight when words are important and they have meaning, and it helps me tie down how I can think about things. It helps me organize in my mind, I guess.
I think that's fair. I think that's what this one was trying to get at with getting all the bits and bobs sorted and the yes, this, no, that, act like this talk. But if it makes it easier for me, I'm relatively easy to please. I like someone to go out with, someone to come home with. Sorry, I'm just thinking about them. You can go ahead and say something if you want. I didn't have anything else to add.
Thinking about Blorbos.
Thinking about Blorbos.
Me banging on the wall. Jigs! Jigs!
Literally, where are
Jigs! Motiva just nods and says, "I'm sorry." She kicks at her feet and she says, "If you would like to call me a girlfriend or partner or weird tree trunk that sometimes knocks on your door, that's fine."
they? Oh, that's really cute. Okay. I think that both of them would be really open about it. I think Adonkai would want to call Mativa his girl. And I think that Nim would call you their lover. And I think it encapsulates how both of them consider the relationship a lot.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah, you are.
For real, for real.
Teachers are about to give you PDA on campus. Are you aware of the consequences of what you've sown? They're gonna love you.
Nope. I can't wait. personally. Speaking of, Motiva speaks up and she says, I was planning on trying to minor in Witherbloom. Would it
Ah.
make you uncomfortable if I take classes here?
Nim nods a bit and says that is a good thing to consider ahead of time. It's actually good for us to have that kind of foresight before it becomes an issue. Uncomfortable. Personally, no. I do think that we will have to think about how what other people say might make us feel. I think you should consider if you think that that is something that would upset you, people having opinions. And I will be honest. I had thought about this even whenever we were just flirting a bit. I know that I would not favor you over others, but to make sure that it didn't seem like that, I probably would, in fact, be a bit harder on you as a student, which I think you could meet. But that will have to be something that you're okay with as well.
That's fine.
Alright. Then it's up to you. I won't mind if you are in my class.
Motiva brings up something else, and she says, do not put me in a bath, and do not expect me to jump into a body of water.
They would both tell you that neither of them particularly enjoy swimming.
Motiva looks as pleased as a cat with a fucking fish in her mouth hearing that.
Yeah. Nim would like be open that like Nim does not have like a shower in their dorm because none of the cabins do. That's like they just don't have that. So they have a bathtub for any cleaning. But like more times than not, it is efficiency tub time. You know what I mean?
Motiva would just nod and say that she has a bucket in Silverquill. She'd just bring it anytime she comes over.
Cool. I actually think that Nim would also just say that they can get one.
Sick nasty.
Like one of the ones from Southeast
With
Asia.
the cup.
The big long handle cup. You know?
The cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The swoosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The swoosh.
Yeah. Slay.
Ah.
I was gonna say something else and I forgot.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. We are doing many talks. I think that. Oh, no, it was just a joke. I'm gonna put it in chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motiva would appreciate hearing that. And she would nod, and she would also bring up that she is going to be very, very hardworking on keeping her good room in Silverquill. So she's very sorry if she ends up complaining a lot about it.
I don't mind saying this outside of their voices because I think it's really cute. I think both of them would commiserate with you that being in school is hard sometimes, especially Silverquill. And it goes back to that thing that Nim said where Nim was like, oh, you know, like we're all busy. It totally makes sense. But this also means that you get to unlock Teacher's Aid T because now they're going to complain to you about shit.
Delicious. Delicious. It's like manager tea.
It's true.
Uh, yeah. I don't think Motiva has anything else. If the other two have anything else in particular, you can bring it up. But otherwise, Motiva is good. I think she would just chat the night away
Yeah,
and like help them with papers if they need it.
Oh, sorry, big stretch. I
Oh,
think
no.
I think that that's definitely a good place to end this conversation because I think everything important they would have already hit. I will probably rehash with you out of session just to like make sure that like I hit like really short bullet points that are like this is what they are saying they want in a relationship, this is what they are calling it, this is what is expected. And I don't want it to be super strict. It's just I know we ramble a lot and we talk in a lot of symbolism, so I want us to be able to like have a thing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't blindside anybody if like Nim is upset later and you're like, what? You know.
What? No, I understand. I would love to
Yes.
do that.
Slay. So I'll do that in a minute. I'm gonna pause really quick, and then I think what I'm gonna do, I do think I want to stop the session relatively soon, but I want to pause and then talk a little bit about the people that Falin managed to grab a hold of for the experiment. Okay, awesome. So we are going to talk a little bit about how you spend the rest of your evening, going and finding people who are willing to let you sleep in their rooms, or their dorm rooms, or some situation, so you can really immerse yourself in the college experience, right? I have a list because if I recall, you got a really high diplomacy score. It was like 23.
I don't remember.
Well, I have it written down that it was 23, so I'm going to believe my notes.
Slay.
But you did really well, and you're a very studious and industrious, and you're a very earnest person. The cool thing about being second years actually is that you guys actually start having reputations, and people know stuff about you, right? And that's actually really, really interesting, because you're talking to people, and even to people that you talk to very rarely, or people that you've never really spoken to on these campuses, you still get like people being like, oh yeah, the one who did blah 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 blah, or the blah 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 blah, you know what I mean, that side of thing, which is kind of neat. And it really like encapsulates something that Rusha told you, where it's like this is like a community, and like it's something that also was drilled into a lot as a first year, but it's even more, it feels even more strongly the minute you start actually like knowing these people and they're not just faces in a crowd, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna walk you through this list, and I talk a little bit about like what that stay is gonna be like, so you can think about it when you're doing the rest of your experiments. I think it's really fun. So on Prismari, Xanther is actually really excited to have you stay over. Because if you recall, he's now a third year pledge mage, which means he has a studio. So you can stay in his studio since there's not like a lot in it, so like it won't be like you getting in the way or anything. And he sets you up with a pile of like his blankets, and he's like, "Oh, it's okay. Like I won't like get cold or anything, haha." And his studio is really cute. It has like the mirrors that he used to have um in the studio that he shared with Quintilius last year, which does give me a really interesting question to you, because this means that you are basically staying in an empty room that has like one wall windows and then another wall mirrors. So how do you feel staying in a room where you are seeing everything that you're doing out of the corner of your eye?
A little funny.
It is kind of funny.
I feel like the mirrors she's not too hung up about, because like, okay, I'm only gonna stay here for 2 days. I feel like the windows are more so her thing, where she's like, I need curtains for those.
Yeah, they're pretty bright still. And like you've gotten to the point where you can see fine in bright light, but it gets so bright here
It's so bright.
all the time.
All the time, forever.
That's true. But that's your stay on Prismari. On Witherbloom, You have a friend in Witherbloom, as Melwithorn is also really open about being like, oh, you need a place to like stay, like you don't sleep. You can literally like trance on like our rug, which means when you're staying on Witherbloom, you're staying in one of those open door cabins, and it has Melwithorn, Urzmektok, which is somebody you have interacted with very rarely. I think only the first day you were at school have you interacted with him.
I think so.
But he is a troll student. Then there is Dina, and then Neri.
Yay!
And everybody's pretty nice about it. So that's really fun. And then on Lorehold, you actually have a really interesting volunteer, which is Rosie.
Oh my god!
So Rosie actually sleeps. So she would explain this to you as she's like walking you over to the room and showing it to you. She actually lives in an excavation that is so small that it's only a 2-person room. And she says like outright, like, oh, you know, my roommate's really cool and stuff, but the room is like really small. But like if you're doing this for like your assignment, I definitely don't mind being an upperclassman that donates my bed to the cause, because I can just go over on Quandrix and be fine.
Aww. Can't see your means.
Yeah, she's gonna sleep with a boyfriend. She waggles her eyebrows about it. She would be really open about it, which I think is really fun. Javanesh is a little bit surprised, but he's really jovial about it, and I think he like jokes around a bit about it. But you won't see a lot of him because in Lorehold, a lot of Loreholds don't actually stay in their dorm very often. It's kind of just a place to put down your shit and to sleep. But that's where you stay in Lorehold. And then on Silverquill, you actually get to room with Mina and Grayson, because Grayson knows you. So like you're running around on Silverquill, and Grayson is like, "What the hell are you doing?" And Mina's also there, and Grayson is like, "You're gonna get mugged." But Mina thinks that your experiment is really funny. So she wants you to stay in her room so she can talk to you about it.
Nice.
So you get to think about these up until the next session. I'll have some actual stuff written for that. But that's what I had written for today.
Yay!
Yay! And so with that, I'll stop recording and we'll be signing off. Get out of my house.